Yay! We are live. Thank you so much for joining us. Woohoo! Abiola here with Emily Tepper, and
Hi.
yay! This is our Project Body Love launch party. 30 days of self-love that are going to culminate in an incredible retreat that we are doing together in the Berkshires, Massachusetts. And so this is going to be a chock full of, I was going to say chock full of nuts, but I don't know if that's appropriate. Chock full of goddesses.
Walnuts, cashews.
Conversation where our focus is, what is body love? What are the 30 days of body love? Why do we need this? And are you the person? Is this for you? So welcome, Emily. Thank you for having this party with me.
Blessings. So happy to be here. It's always really excited to party with you and talk and spend time with you. And my favorite thing to do.
Yay. And I see your luscious flowers behind you, always basking in the feminine energy and magic.
Yes, I am. This was my kickoff present for Project Body Love from my honey.
Yay, honey. Yay for connection. So tell people about you. I'll tell people about me, and then we'll jump in.
Sure. I am a manifestation coach and a custom ritual designer. I'm launching a brand new site today, actually. Woo! Called
Yay!
Life. Yeah, I'm super excited to share. It's called Life Manifestation, and I have a lot of different, very powerful feminine methods and feminine power practices to get you really loving your body, loving yourself, and creating the life that you really have always wanted to have.
Yay! I mean, who doesn't want that? That is really exciting. And our prior hangout that we did together was around your initiative, Receive Everything, which has been a natural transition into this.
Yes.
So this is really magical and inspired.
Yes, yes. Receive Everything was a really successful project that flowed, like as I've formed my friendship with you, Abiola, actually, right into Life Manifestation. So receptivity is still huge in the game as far as like a very powerful feminine tool and feminine method for just letting what you want land and take traction in your life and living an embodied life.
Living an embodied life, that is everything, and so appropriate as we're talking about Project Body Love. And so for people who don't know me, I'm Abiola Abrams. I am the author of the Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love, the award-winning Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love. And this Project Body Love initiative is so near and dear to my heart, and I'm so thrilled about the work that Emily and I are going to be doing together. You can find me at sacredbombshell.com, which was previously known as abiolatv.com, where the TV stands for transformation and victory. And I am a self-love coach and also the midwife for your inspired life. And so my great-grandmother in Guyana was a midwife and women's fertility healer back in the last century, and I am the midwife for your inspired life, that I help encourage, empower big vision women who have a big vision of how they want to change their corner of the world. In order to be able to do that, I help to dissolve all of the obstacles to your self-love, to your self-worth, to your self-healing and self-confidence. And so body love is a huge part of that, because we all have a body, you know, they all look different, they're size different, they're differently abled, and so this is a really, really important conversation. So, you know, is this a conversation for you? Is 30 days of body love for you? Why do you need this? Is this retreat for you? Who are we? Why are we on your screen? You know, let me just tell you some of the brief parts of some of the emails that I've gotten from women, just actually in the past few months. I write an advice column for Essence and also give advice on my blog and several different other outlets. And these are things I've heard also with my one-on-one coaching and speaking and, you know, some of the things we've heard. And Emily, tell me if they sound like things you've heard in your practice as well. Um, I hate my body. Is plastic surgery the only way to fix that? Something I've heard. And this is without judgment, no right, no wrong. I'm just putting it out there. Um, I don't have traditional beauty. I grew up being teased for my looks. I feel ugly. That's come in different forms of too big, too small, too fat, too skinny, too petite, too light, too dark, too whatever. I can hide it well, but that's something I've heard and coached around. I have an eating disorder, binging, purging, not eating. I have a food addiction, sugar addiction, emotional eating, and my experience with that has been that's something that I have heard and worked with a lot in my own personal journey and with my clients. Um, my natural hair or my natural beauty sucks. I have freckles or nappy hair or dark hair or limp hair or some form of that. I look god awful, makeup free. Why is that something that I might be interested in? Is that the only option to self-love? I've heard different parts of that. I hate working out. Working out for me is sitting on my sofa and working out my remote control. Do I need to do that? I'm skinny enough. My body seems healthy. Do I need to work out? Is it necessary to be a vegan or a vegetarian? I feel like everyone is jumping on that bandwagon, and I don't feel like that works for me. Some things I've heard. I don't feel comfortable in my body because I was abused. I was sexually abused. I was physically abused. I've heard different versions of that, and I don't feel comfortable in my skin. I don't like being touched, or I only feel comfortable when I'm touched. And as a result, I've been branded as promiscuous, or I've been branded as a prude. Different versions of that I've heard. Sexy versus slut. What's the difference? I am cutting and abusing my body, and no one knows, or I'm past the age where people think that you should be cutting, or I'm past the age where people think that you should be anorexic or bulimic, and no one knows, and I don't know what to do. I'm embarrassed. I feel ashamed. Different versions of that. And also, the last one I'll share for now is everyone thinks that I'm confident. Everyone thinks that I'm so strong. I feel like I'm holding everyone else together. I'm really falling apart, and I hide it really well. I hate myself. I hate my life. I hate my body, and I don't have anyone to talk about this with. So, pretty heavy stuff there. Tell me your thoughts around all of that, Emily. And again, if you resonate with anything there or anything you want to send us or ask us or anything like that during this initiative, then you are in the exact right place.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I want to thank you so much, Abiola, for bringing all of this forward in the way that you do. Such a huge, huge safe space, and like we're gonna have so much fun. I want to preface this all with we're actually gonna have
this
so
is
much
a party.
It is a party, and within the party, you're so gifted at saying yeah, we're having a party, and I'm bringing all these very real raw topics out, and we're gonna unpack them, and that's amazing, and that's an incredibly beautiful gift that you have. So thank you for inviting me into this. I can relate to almost every single thing that was listed, and there's so much to unpack there. I mean, we all know the drill that we're taught, which is basically be thin, be pretty in a certain way, be pleasing in a certain way, it's exercise every day, eat in a certain way, things are changing, but there is a drill that we're taught that's ABC, boom, 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 then you'll be successful, then you'll get the guy, then you'll have, whatever.
Right.
And it's getting away from the drill was really step one for me. So because I was doing all the right things and I had all the outward appearances of success, but they were based in self-hatred, which is, something that I had to drop the drill before I could adjust my internal energetics, or what I call my come from.
Yes.
So, so whether you sleep for 2 days straight, or you go to kickboxing class, or whatever you do, you go to a petting zoo as your exercise and walk there and back, whatever ends up happening, and your rituals need to align around a come from of self-love. And it takes some patience to do that, and sometimes turning around and saying, oh my goddess, I have the drill down, but it's all from a place of self-loathing, is actually the hardest part, or it was one of the hardest parts for me.
For me too.
And so that's really what came up for me mostly. It's whether you're it doesn't whatever label, prude, promiscuous, cutter, starver, barfer, whatever we're doing. Well, that's horrible.
Right.
And not funny. It's it's looking at what do you have down as the drill that's not working for you. And what was I gonna say? It'll come back in a second. But this idea that when a model stops working, when a mode of existence stops working for you, that's something to party and celebrate over. So it's almost like we're kicking off our party with saying yay, these things do not work for us anymore. Woo-hoo! It's
yes,
awesome.
Because that's when the doors open.
Yes.
You say, okay, and Mother Nature is showing us that right now, Emily, how when something doesn't work, you shed it.
Right.
You pick it up new and you reinvent it and move forward.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's an evolving thing, isn't it? People feel like self-love is almost like an island, or body love, that you'll arrive there and then hallelujah, I'm healed. And there's nothing that's like that, not in our physical health, not in our mental health, not in anything. I mean, even right now on this hangout as a self-love coach, I will just be transparent and tell you that the oils that I use in my hair, always make my hair in this light look like it has silver glints or kind of or something weird in it, and I'm always self-conscious of that. I'm like, what is going on? Why does my hair always look like that? And we have stuff.
Yeah.
We're human beings. While you're alive and you're human, you will have stuff.
Yes.
It's what you do about the stuff.
Yeah.
You mire yourself in it and continue to, all of the things that you listed, binge, barf, cut, or just judge other women, or just hate yourself, or hate your jeans, or hate your butt, or hate your body, or hate your hair or your skin, or whatever it is. Or do you go out and get a million plastic surgery procedures and then realize that you still hate yourself to begin with?
Right. That's yes. Yes.
There are just endless possibilities. And it's also that it's very interesting, as when I was doing research for my book, one study was showing that, there are these studies that show, African American women, have more body confidence than ever, so they're healed, so this is not their issue. But when they delved deeper into it, the same self-esteem issues were there, the same exact self-esteem issues across cultures, but it showed up for different reasons. And so if, for non-African, descended women, if big butts just came into style, for women who are of other cultures, and so you can't then say, oh, well, these women, because they don't have this specific issue, that they don't have self-esteem or body image issues. It was showing up in skin color issues. It was showing up in, hair issues, which is the same exact thing. That when I'm talking about body love, body positivity, body acceptance, I mean from head to toe. That's what we're working on, from head to toe, from the tip top of your head and everything that comes from it, down to your, sacral area, your womb, and, all the good stuff there, down to your toes and the soles of your feet, your brain, and everything in between.
Yeah, and that is such a tweetable, that self-love is not an island you just arrive on someday. It is a practice, like a musical practice.
Yes.
Your body as your creative instrument.
Yes. And that's why we use the word practice, because you have to keep at it. That it's, that the way that you can tell whether you love yourself is how do you treat yourself. You know, and I'm not just talking about manicures and pedicures and soaking in the tub, although we love those things and those things are nice and great and luscious.
Yes.
And then I'm talking with my hands this way instead of this way because I'm overdue for a mani-pedi in this self-love conversation and video. But how do you treat your inside? You know, how who are you allowing into your body physically and mentally? Who are you, you know, what are you allowing into your body? What kinds of, you know, foods and things are you taking in? How are you feeding and nourishing yourself? What are your daily rituals that, you know, reinforce your I am worthy? You know, is your love, if your love for yourself is so very conditional, I love myself when my hair is right. I love myself when my jeans fit well. I love myself when I look good. If your love for yourself is so conditional, how do you expect someone else to have unconditional love for you?
Yeah.
You know? And so
yeah.
that is like a huge thing that we're addressing, you know, not only in this conversation, but in the retreat that we're doing together in the Berkshires in December.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I know that we're really going to be taking all of these topics to Lady Church.
Yes. Taking it to Lady Church.
Yeah.
Because Emily, can you tell people a little bit about your background as a dancer? Because literally your body was your livelihood. You know, when people are a dancer and actor, you know that for all of us, our body is our instrument, but your body literally lived and worked in your body, and what it did was your bread and butter.
Yeah, it was. Well, so it was already a couple of lifetimes ago, a couple of careers ago, but I had a long career as a dancer, and I was super blessed to be introduced to the possibility of using my body as my creative instrument all the time, every day as my job. And I danced for a few different companies in New York City and then over in Europe, and I was at Lincoln Center with the Metropolitan Opera Ballet. And I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Black Swan, but there are some very accurate elements to it. So, you know, at the height of my career, I was not getting my period at all, and I didn't really understand how to be a feeling person. Like, even I would walk out of rehearsal and see people like laughing and hanging out, and I would think like, wow, I don't know how to do that. And I got hired most frequent, like the more androgynous I looked, the more I got hired. And I can just remember like looking in the mirror and just saying like, I just remember the fed up point, reaching the fed up point where it was like, wow, I've cut off my emotions, because every single time I look at myself, it is to make a tweak, make an adjustment, like, you know, whether it was like brushing sweat off my forehead or tying my shoe, no matter what I was doing, it was an adjustment towards being this unattainable perfect that would never, ever, ever, ever actually exist. And so you know, how we do anything is how we do everything. Right?
Yeah.
So kind of, you know, the more the fed upness, thank goddess, came to me, the more I looked around and said like, wow, every single relationship in my life is reflecting the relationship I have with myself.
Say that again, because that's the key to all of the work that we are doing. And I really, really like that. It's my life's passion for people to get that.
Yeah. Every single relationship I have in my life is reflecting back to me the relationship I have with myself. And so I realized that if you heard anybody talk to someone else the way that I was talking to myself, they would be arrested and taken away for like child abuse. Yeah.
Yes.
That was where I started, was understanding that it was my responsibility to work on my relationship with myself first. Otherwise, it would just not stick. I could grab any job any pair of shoes, any date night out with girlfriends, any boyfriend, and it would still reflect back to me this number one core relationship, which was my relationship to my own soul.
Very important, very important. And thank you so much for generously sharing that with us. I feel like, you know, one of the challenges we're going to have in the 30 days of body love, and an assignment that I like to do with my one-on-one coaching clients, and we're certainly going to do at the retreat, is what is the autobiography of your body? Because all of our bodies have a story. One of the ways we're going to be going even deeper, not in this conversation, but in other ones, these are going to be a series of videos, is, you know, the history of conversations, the history of the autobiography of your body, you know, like, because you know, our bodies hold, you know, the histories from our mothers, our great-great-grandmothers. You know, when a woman is born, her body holds all of the eggs that she will create in her lifetime. And so that means that, you know, when my great-great-great-grandmother, who was a slave, you know, and her body was owned and being abused and all of that, her body held the eggs that created my great-grandmother, that created my grandmother, that created my mom, that created me. And so, you know, there are things in our bodies that we need to release, not only, you know, from ourselves, but on a generational level, things that we inherit, you know, pains and issues that we inherit as a woman that we need to release for our own health, mental and physical health and well-being.
Yeah, I agree, and I really want to support and big up that generational healing, that constellational healing is key. And I know I can't wait to really, 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 really support and hold deep, safe space for women at the retreat to go through this, because it's like, that is what made it not about me, in a sense, you know, because there was a part of me that was like, how dare I have better than generations past of mine, you know, like,
yes.
Several generations back in my Jewish American family, and like a lot of money went to rhinoplasty right away because assimilation was key.
Yes.
So, like, how dare I not get some extra part-time job to have the money for rhinoplasty so then I can love myself?
Yes. It's that always, and so then I can love myself. Please go ahead.
Yeah, well, so it's just, I mean, the idea, like, that the healing is for all of us was something that helped me turn around and look at the canyon, look at the void, you know, like I was thinking, there are so many things that I have that are privileged and that are better than so many people in the world. Like, how dare I do better than other people? How dare I do better than generations past? You know, like, how dare I think that I don't need rhinoplasty? You know what I mean? Like,
I so relate to that as a part of, like, my self-love and body love story. The ways that I, you know, the tyranny of beauty and the way that I impacted that on myself, like, literally the mantra that I would repeat to myself throughout high school, throughout college, was, to whom much has been given, much is required, which is, you know, a great mantra to have, but not if you're using it to terrorize yourself and say, okay, then you don't have a right to any pain or any, you know, any kind of, you know, feeling your feelings. And, you know, feeling almost like dead from the neck down. You know, I had it's interesting the ways that our stories parallel and are very different, that, you know, while your body was, you know, as a dancer, like, very, you know, literally your bread and butter, that, you know, for me, like, I felt like, okay, I am, you know, as a writer, you know, secret writer, afraid to share my writing, you know, and as an intellectual, as someone for whom education has always been very important and drummed into my head that, you know, that's the way to freedom, that's very important, you know, that it felt like almost like, you know, the body was inconsequential.
Right.
So, you know, as a result, like, starting back in high school and maybe even junior high school, that binging for me, like overeating, emotional eating, food addiction, whatever words you want to use, were the way that, you know, that I kind of left my body, you know, like like you can be talking to someone and they're there in their body, but they're not there in their body, you
Right.
know. And a lot of us use food as a, you know, it's masked in like reward, you know, or there's a reason why our cultural image of a woman going through a breakup is someone nursing themselves and self-soothing with ice cream and cookies or, you know, whatever it is. It's ways of us leaving our body rather than dealing with our emotions. And the issue is that you can't just numb out the painful emotions. You can't just numb out the, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm being bullied, or I'm bullying myself, or whatever it is. I hate my hair, I hate my nose, I hate my body, I hate my whatever. You can't just numb that out without numbing out the bliss, the joy, the highs, the high notes of life.
Right.
You know? And so, you know, then like you, that I had like kind of this interesting relationship and disconnect with my body, because then when I went looking for my beauty, and this sounds crazy to say it, but I was looking for it in the world of, you know, pageants. I was a pageant queen, and, you know, so that's literally a beauty competition where it's like you win by being heralded as like the most beautiful, and so, you know, I win these titles, but it didn't, still never felt beautiful, like, or never felt, you know, attractive or whatever it was, because I still didn't feel like I lived up to the body ideal that, you know, when I was in high school and junior high school, that, you know, my body type, you know, the Kim Kardashian, J-Lo, Beyonce body type, whatever you want to call it, the bootylicious body type was not in style yet, you know. And so, you know, there were all kinds of issues and multi-layered, you know, issues that I didn't know how to process or to deal with, and didn't have the tools to be able to deal with them. And so, you know, just kind of just then turned off to them, you know, and turned off to myself at this, in the same regard. In the book, I call that inner voice, you know, the inner bully that we all have. Like you said, you were saying things to yourself. We say things to ourselves that we wouldn't say to our worst enemy.
Yeah.
We use words like disgusting to describe our bodies, our very bodies. This is our temple. This is where we live, and we use the word disgusting to describe ourselves. You know, and if a partner turned to you and said, you know, you're disgusting, that's somebody that you shouldn't be with, and yet we do that to ourselves, you know, on a daily basis. And so the answer is, you know, not that, you know, that there's something wrong with wanting to be beautiful and wanting to feel beautiful, and, you know, like I call it, you know, I talk about beauty as a spiritual practice, and I know that's a big part of like the ritualistic work that you do, Emily, that we have a right to our beauty. We have a right to our juicy feminine beauty, to be able to look in the mirror and be like, you know, yay, I enjoy what I see today. How, you know, we have a right to feel good in your skin and feel good in your body. You know, and I want to talk a little bit, before we come back to this, about our retreat. You know?
Yeah, I do too, and I really want to keep circling back to this idea that it comes from within. It's, you know, it's a sort of a cliche saying, but it's not. It's just, it's deep. It's profound. It is deep, real talk. Everything comes from within. Like, reality as you behold it in front of you is really about your capacity to behold your own magnificence. And that's something that I know that as I listen to you, every time I listen to you, I hear myself so much in your story, and I know that it's just going to be a really, really power-packed infusion of deep, deep love, you know, with both of us having gone through such a major, major turnaround of accomplishing it, you know, with this like almost like militaristic self-abuse, and then turning around and saying like, wait a minute, that's not the path. I don't deserve this. No one deserves this. Sitting down, taking the sacred silence. What is the path? What do I deserve? What am I willing to role model? You know, how am I willing to heal my lineage? And then how can I reclaim, reinvent, and be reborn as my most authentic phoenix of, you know, sacred beauty and sacred love, which is something that the world is very dry and needs from us and from you and all of us. Like, the world needs us to be the watering can of light and love.
Yes, the world is literally starving for, you know, for us to step into our magnificence, for us to step into ourselves, for
Yes.
us to step into our greatness. And so, you know, Project Body Love is all of that. Like during the next, you know, 30 days, like today is day 1 of Project Body Love, and day 30, I think, is our first day of our retreat. That, you know, we are going to have, you know, challenges for you and questions and, you know, recipes. This is the Project Body Love part of it. Through social media, you can participate, or where everything is going to be, you know, and on our individual sites, and at projectbodylove.tumblr.com will house everything, you know, but we want to be able to give you tools as much as we can, you know, via social media and through you doing your own work, about coming into your body love, coming into your body acceptance, coming into your body bliss. That's the name of the retreat. The Body Love, Body Acceptance, Body Bliss Healing Retreat on December 14th and 15th in the Berkshires. And you can actually...
Right?
Say again? Is it the 14th, 15th, or 13th, 14th?
13th, 14th. That's Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday, in the Berkshires, Massachusetts. And you can actually find a link right now on the front of sacredbombshell.com or abiolatv.com or projectbodylove.tumblr.com and Emily's new site, which is launching today.
You can also find it and register at lifemanifestation.com.
lifemanifestation.com, because that's really what this is, that you cannot, you know, properly manifest your life. We see it all the time that, you know, people we look up to and that we envy their lives really loathe themselves and hate their own lives and are, you know, killing themselves slowly and softly, whether it's, you know, drugs, alcohol, you know, emotional issues, you know, relationship issues, any number of things. And so it's not about looking outward and emulating, you know, other people, but about developing those tools to love ourselves. And then if you want to, then once you have that within you, you can do whatever you want. If you want to go, you know, and dye your hair blonde and be a blonde bombshell, like whatever. I'm, you know, for a woman's right, I think a woman has a right to do whatever she darn well please with her body. Yes. But I just want you to come from a place of power and self-love rather than self-loathing.
Yes, yes. And, you know, there were times when I had to just make a gratitude list and say, like, I'm grateful I have 10 fingers. I'm grateful that I'm able to go up and down a flight of stairs whenever I want to. You know, like, those
are big. Those are part of it.
Yeah, those are a huge part of it. And it's also like our body is such an untapped resource. Like your body is literally like once I was living an embodied life, and I know that once you're living an embodied life too, like you can feel like your body is such an untapped resource. It is such a powerhouse of knowing, of creation. Like once you're tapped into that like inner GPS system and your emotional bandwidth, and like you're feeling the fullness of your feelings and honoring them and unafraid of them, you are a force of nature. And that really is where like your life, the life that you want, is right there in front of you. It stops being like this future tense daydream.
Yes. You know, that's what we want to move out of, the future tense daydream of I will be happy ultimately, I will be happy when I lose the 10 pounds, when I get the breast implants, when I, you know, have jeans that fit, when I have a more expensive bag, and come into it today, to come into it right now. That future tense daydream is what we want to move away from. Right. And one of the things that I put up on our Tumblr is that people can click and share their stories. I think that that's really important. That's why we're so transparent with you, because everyone thinks that they're alone. They feel like, you know, we don't talk about these things, you know, and we, in isolation, everyone's, you know, kind of in their little silo dealing with their stuff. And it's important for us to share our stories. So I want you to go and share your body love stories and your body love confessions, you know, so that we could talk about them. I mean, one of mine is that when you talk about our bodies being abled and what our bodies are able to do, is that I hated my breasts until just a few years ago. And the thing that stopped that for me was that I had a breast cancer scare.
Wow.
It was really scary. And, you know, I had cysts that thankfully, you know, everything was fine, you know, removed. But that was what brought me to, oh, wait, my breasts are beautiful, you know, when I was afraid that, you know, that they had sickness in them. And so, we want to get to the place where we can, manifest and create, self-loving lives for ourselves without having to go into a place of illness in order to be able to do it.
Right.
Or wherever your body is,
Yeah.
If you are experiencing, ill health or whatever, that this is about, coming into body love and body acceptance and, then working on what it is that you need to do. Whether it's, losing weight if you are at an unhealthy weight, is something that you may need to do. And I feel like that is almost like an unpopular statement and a part of this conversation, the body love, body acceptance conversation that is frowned upon. Like, you're not supposed to talk about if you have unhealthy fat that you need to release. But, as part of my body love testimony is that, at one point I was 180 pounds, which for some people may be healthy. For me, it was very unhealthy. I was unhealthy. I have pre-diabetic conditions. People in my family have died from diabetes. So it's an important conversation also for me culturally as an African American woman, that African American women are, tend to die more from cancers and, hypertension and diabetes and, food related, eating related, body love related issues and illnesses. And so for me, that's an important part of this conversation and will be a part of the retreat, that if you need to get your body to a healthy weight, that it's not, we want you to you need to accept and love yourself where you are and who you are, and it's not about a future tense, but also you want to love your body into, perfect joy and health and hotness and all of that in terms of what that means for you.
Yeah, I love that it was all brilliantly said, and I hope for everyone who's on here partying with us that you will share with us. Please do share, because transparency is healing. Transparency is key. And this is not a knock against men, because I've done a lot of work healing my relationship with men, and I love men. However, one of the negative tools of the patriarchy is that it separates and silences women. And it is a sacred community, sacred space, like-minded community that is part of the reemergence of the matriarchal system, the matriarchal life, way of existence, the matriarchal world, like the next paradigm. So it is political. Like, this is real. Like, this is sacred space holding for real, for us to be transparent and to upright each other and to give each other the love that we need to help jumpstart whatever self-love you're looking for yourself. And just know that, like, you're literally not alone. That is a ruse, that is smoke and mirrors, that is lies that have been planted in our head for about 8,000 years now. And this is the work, and we're all blessed to be here doing this work together.
Yes. And this is change the world work. With you working on your body, this is change the world work. It really is. Mm-hmm. That, a few years ago I was in a workshop in New York City at this place called The Kitchen. That is like a performance space in New York, experimental performance space that, is in New York City. And I was in this workshop with Yoko Ono.
Oh,
and
really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome. And so, someone was asking her at the time, like, how we can get out of the war, how we could end the war, what her thoughts were on that, because she lived through Vietnam and stuff like that. Yeah. And she said, go home, like she said, like very profoundly in her Yoko way, goddess divine self, yeah, I might have broken up the Beatles, take that however you want, energy self. She said, go home and fix and mend the cups in your cupboard. And I remember we were all like, huh? Like, we were looking for her to give what we thought would be like some prolific anti-war thing. Yeah. And I didn't get it until years later what she meant when she said, go home and fix, the cups in your cupboard. You've got to heal your part of the world. Mm-hmm. And that's what changes the world. Healing your body, changes the world. Healing yourself changes the world. And so, you may have a big vision and a big dream, like most of the women that I work with, for, amazing things that you want to do on an epic scale. But if you don't heal this, and take care of this temple, you know, that is the key, that you're not going to be able to get to the other stuff, or if you're not going to be able to deliver it in the most powerful way that you can. And so this is sacred, important, life-changing, earth-shattering work. You loving on you is the biggest gift you can give to your family, to your community, to, you know, just to the divine central intelligence that we're all a part of.
Yeah. We are all connected. It's true. And like, we can move a mountain, but if we don't do it from a place of loving ourselves and loving our life and loving our relationship to our body, energetically, we're not moving things forward. The world does not need any more martyrs. It needs mothers. It needs people that are birthing businesses, birthing art pieces, birthing babies, birthing friendships, you know, and all from a place of being like really connected to their heart.
Yes, that's exactly it. And that's why I say that I'm, you know, the midwife for your inspired life. That for some women, you know, a lot of women are opting not to have babies, and that's wonderful, but they're still giving birth. They're still giving birth to all kinds of amazing things. And so for you to give birth to something amazing, that you've got to take care of, you know, where that dream is going to be marinating, where that vision is going to be marinating. You know, I want to share with them some of the things that we're going to be talking about over the next, as a part of our 30 days of
30
body love. Okay, so all right, so these are the 30 themes, ideas. If I leave anything out, you guys feel free to let us know all throughout social media or wherever. But these are the 30 themes, topics that we're going to be covering, and then what we envision is that we will share questions, challenges, advice, giveaways. We're going to be giving away, you know, a bunch of like amazing things. Also, even recipes, workouts, healing modalities, confessions, through videos, tweets, texts, photos, you know, etc. Just a jam-packed 30 days. With Project Body Love culminating in our retreat in Massachusetts, and we hope that you can join us. All right, so here are the 30 in no particular order. This is not in order. Envy and comparing ourselves. I did a post about that today that I'll get to before we go. What is body love, which is what this conversation is. Body confidence, eating disorders, body ability, like Emily was talking about. We're differently abled, you know, that, you know, some people may say, well, I'm in a wheelchair, so is this conversation for me? You know, we're differently abled. And with that, I put mental health, anxiety, depression, that, you know, men tend to feel very comfortable, masculine energy, with turning their anger outward. Women, we turn that anger inward on ourselves. What does my handwriting say here? Healing. Healing. Fat. I wrote the word just fat, which is, you know, let's talk about it. Yoni energy and yoni power, you know, that's a big part of this body love discussion. Our faces, the visage, you know, our faces, beauty. Food, all of the food stuff, you know, that we mentioned earlier in this conversation. Fitness, and what that means to you. Chakras and chakra healing, chakra alignment, chakra clearing. For me, that is, you know, and for Emily as well, a big part of what we're going to be doing at the retreat. Sexuality and sex, you know, feeling good with your sexual self and your sexual body. The womb, the uterus, you know, all of that as an extension of, you know, sexuality and yoni power and all of that. The skin, our biggest organ, you know, part of this conversation. Hair, breasts, our boobies, our butts, joy, anger, shame, self-loathing, love and relationships, and what I call in the Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love, PTLD, post-traumatic love disorder.
Mm.
Secrets, which is, there's a lot of secret behavior around our bodies and about what we feel about our bodies. And, we're spanking and we're tucking and we're pushing up and we're, all of those things.
Yeah.
Abuse and how that manifests, in our bodies and the ways that we feel about our bodies. Our bellies, for a long time, I think until maybe my late 20s and maybe even into my 30s, that I wasn't breathing correctly. A lot of us just aren't, I was breathing in a very shallow way, just, knowing how to breathe properly, breathe into your belly. Plastic surgery, what we talked about, aging, and what that means for us as women and our beauty and what we have invested in that. Legs and thighs, waists and hips. And then, just quickly, the brain, gratitude, body dysmorphia, self-esteem, self-confidence, and being body positive. So those are some of the things that we're going to be addressing over.
Encompassing, love it.
Yay! So how can people participate, Emily? What do you want them to do next?
I would love it if this turns you on, lights you up, or even if there's a little tiny part inside of you that's like, me, pay attention.
Yes.
Please pay attention to me. I would love for you to go to Abiola TV, abiola.tv.
AbiolaTV.com, you've got it.
AbiolaTV.com, and check out the retreat page, or you can go to lifemanifestation.com. It's also right there on the homepage. And let me just grab the Google phone if you want to just call me right now. I will pick up the phone personally. And the number is 347-762-4886. And I would love to hear where you're at. I would love to hear.
Say it one more time. Say the number for them one more time.
Okay. 347-762-4886.
And you can also talk to Emily, just about, like, she's also registering people for retreat. If you want to come and for us to work with this over an intense, amazing weekend. We have a yoga instructor who's going to be working with us in the Berkshires as well. And, let us get our hands on you and let's all do this work together. I think also, say it again.
Oh, I was just saying Tamir is amazing, and then I was just echoing everything you're saying. I feel like we want to get our hands on you and just bring you to yourself, and you won't even recognize yourself when we're done with you in a good way, right?
Yes, goddess energy, goddess power.
Yeah, I want, like, every time you are in a restaurant or at a party or wherever and you go to the bathroom, I want you to just look in the mirror and say, like, oh, hi, a moment alone with you.
Yes.
Darling, how have you been?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think what would be really great for this is if you just, for the next 30 days, have an accountability partner. Grab a friend and say, hey, I'm going to be doing this Project Body Love thing. Let's do it together. Have an accountability partner. I know that that's really helpful to be able to partner with like-minded energy. Each one teach one, each one bring one, and let's do this together.
Let's do it. And the power is in the posting. It really is. Like, I used to be terrified to say anything vulnerable about myself because I was like, oh, I'm a coach. I can't say anything vulnerable about myself because then people will know I have issues. Right? And the power is in the posting. Like, there's a tremendous release of energy when you share, and this is the safest, most loved up space you could possibly share in. And once you have that release, you have space then for all this new love to fill that hole, to fill that void with something new and something better. So do share with us.
Yay, that was juicy, Emily. That was so juicy. Actually, I would love for us to just close with some, like, prayerful energy and, like, let's just shoot positive energy to everyone who is on the line. listening, whatever you believe, this is about just connecting with the highest part of you. And I see you in love with yourself. I see you madly in love with your beautiful body. I see you connected. I see you energized. I see you healed from the tippity top of your gorgeous head to the bottom of your beautiful feet. I see you energized. I see you standing firmly in your power, your magnificence, and loving your divitude, loving your sacred bombshellness, loving your goddess power, and just loving yourself, loving your belly, loving your yoni, loving your breasts, loving your face, loving your beautiful heart and your incredible brain. And we see you whole, happy, and healed. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yay.
I'll take that. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll see you guys around at projectbodytumblr.com. If you have questions about the retreat, call Emily. Call Emily now. She's standing by. There's going to be everything from Reiki healing to meditation. It's going to be an incredible thing. And for those of you, hashtag Project Body Love, hashtag 30 days of body love, and let's get this party started, right? All right, so day one. So we will see you, and there'll be more videos. This video series, ideally, will happen Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if we need to make time adjustments, you'll see it. You'll follow. We're playing jazz. We're women. We work cyclically, and we just, make it happen.
Yep. Yes.
So thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Very soon.
Namaste. The sacred bombshell in me sees, accepts, and adores the sacred bombshell in you. Bye.